You know, and I think this is especially true of like communism. Like, there's never been a study that proved that sharing wealth equally was beneficial. Not one that I know of. Yet loads of professors are communists. Even some economics professors are communists. It's just really weird.
What are some of these
That's
errors?
like an oxymoron, man, or something. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't even compute.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I mean I don't know if you know Indio, but I'm currently studying a level 7 qualification in finance, and the qualification itself, so actually it's quite objective. It's quite nice, but a couple of the people that I've spoken to about the kinds of things that I'm going to be studying are very dogmatic about either socialism or communism, and you think you guys are like, I don't know, it's like it just seems weird. It's like these people who are obsessed with money and control always seem to be of this worldview.
Maybe because they know if they survive the purge, they'll be rich. How about that?
Maybe.
Maybe they think that
But I
they can
guess
make it out alive on top, and they can be part of the proletariat.
possibly, but it's like, well, the problem they have, of course, is if they're rich and they survive, then the commissars will be coming straight to their door first. So, good luck.
Not
with
if
that.
they're the ones that send the people to the doors. Maybe they're hoping to be those people.
Right? Yeah, I suppose that could make sense.
It's not usually what happens, but no one said a
No.
communist is irrational.
True. No, just blows my mind. I'm probably one of the only non-kind of left-wing people on my course. And I mean,
that's fucking scary, dude. That's scary.
It's just weird. I just find it odd.
Oh, you get this right. Course on finance. Hey, everybody passes. Those people are going to be actually working in finance, and they're communists. Doesn't bode well.
No. But that's just England for you. I mean, I think most people in England kind of have communistic values, even if they don't realise it.
Oh, you do have national health care.
Well, exactly. That's my point. So when I say to people, like, you do realise that the NHS isn't like it's not an objectively moral or good thing. It's it's a left-wing principle, right? Socialised healthcare. A lot of people in England don't understand that. They just think, well, NHS is good because free healthcare, and they don't really get that there's like an ideological leaning there.
Well,
not free.
Universal,
but it's not free actually.
Universal healthcare isn't anywhere close to like communism.
No, okay, maybe you missed the entire point of what I just said. Come on, man. You must have understood what I said.
Universal anything is communist. That's the idea.
I didn't actually say communist. Okay, so I said two things. First of all, I said that I think a lot of people in Britain don't understand how communistic their thinking is. And then I went on to say, for instance, the socialised healthcare is a socialist left-wing principle. That was literally what I said.
But it isn't socialism and it isn't communism.
Socialised healthcare isn't socialism.
Correct.
Okay, I can't even be bothered to argue with that. You win. Whatever.
Right, it's not. It's
like
saying,
wrong, but I can't be
no, I'm not. I'm not
so
wrong.
fundamentally wrong. It's
well, what is socialism for you?
Dude, socialized. It's called socialized healthcare.
No, but what is? It's socialized. It's socialistic, but it isn't socialism. Okay. What is socialism to you?
Well, what's socialism to me? Well, I don't believe in it, so nothing.
Well, I believe in a lot of things that I have definitions for and that I understand.
Okay, I've got the Google definition, which I think fits quite well. Political and economic theory of social organization, which advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole.
Right. Right.
So how is socialized medicine not fitting within that doctrine?
Because healthcare is not the means of production. By the means of production...
Okay, but it is a social organization, isn't it?
It's not the means of production, is it?
Okay, so you're taking a communistic definition of socialism.
Well, I'm just taking the definition you just read.
Okay, as I say, I can't actually be bothered to
You
argue
can't be
this,
bothered
'cause
to
I can
stick
already
by
tell
the
you're coming in
definition that you
hot.
just read.
No, Brenda, I've heard you talk before. You don't actually make good points, so I can't
You
be
don't
bothered
think
to talk
that
to you.
my trying to hold you to the definition you just read
No.
is
But
a good point.
Is there anyone else in here that thinks that socialized medicine doesn't come across as socialistic? Anybody else?
Well, I agree it's socialistic. I'm not disagreeing on that.
Then
It's not
what are you
social.
arguing for?
It's not
Well-
socialism.
Because Brenda's a contrarian.
No,
Whatever you say.
Okay,
she's
whatever.
gonna say.
it's
Yeah.
not socialism.
I can tell that.
How hard is that to figure out?
It's like when Bernie Sanders said that democratic socialism wasn't socialism.
Democratic socialism is socialism, but social democracy often is not counted, which is somewhat different
gosh.
than social democracy is different than democratic socialism, and people split hairs on that.
So what's the difference?
Dude, you're the one
difference-
splitting hairs.
The difference, the Nordic countries like Sweden and other places like that, those are social democracies, right?
Yeah, what is the difference? What are
Well, in the
aspects of both?
Okay, in social democracy, you have capitalism. It's just regulated. In democratic socialism, the state owns the means of production. It will own things like factories and other means of producing goods. That's the difference.
But listen, this is a service. This isn't a good. Right? So the means of producing
That's right.
the service, aka healthcare, is owned by the state and provided by the state through the taxation of society.
Yeah, and it works just fine. It works in most civilized countries have some form of socialized healthcare, either through the state or through companies that are tightly controlled and regulated by the state. Either way will work, and it works just fine. But that's not socialism. It's socialistic.
You just said it was though.
No, I didn't.
You said if it's owned by the state, then it's socialism.
No, I said
Healthcare. No, yes, you did.
No, I did not. I said if the means of production are owned by the state.
Okay,
So
can you define means
that's
of production then, please?
Industry. Automobile,
so is
like
healthcare
the
industry?
automobile industry and other
Well, let's use
industries like
healthcare. Is healthcare an industry?
it is an industry, but it's not. It doesn't produce hard
Okay.
goods like automobiles, refrigerators, or TVs, or things like that.
Who said anything about hard goods?
That's what is meant. That's what the distinction is made.
What?
When people say the means of production, they mean something very specific. They mean factory production. That's what they mean. The factories
So your
that
contention
produce.
is that healthcare doesn't produce hard goods. That's your contention.
That's correct. It's a service. It's not.
Right.
It's
okay.
not.
So it's
not
a pointless.
Right. It's a
It's
service.
a pointless splitting hairs. Waste
So
of time.
so production or ventilators aren't a produced good.
Yes, they are.
EKG machines are not a produced good.
Yes,
Syringes
they
are not
yes,
a produced good.
Yes. Yes. They
So
all are.
why would it not fall under socialism then?
It would be socialism if the government owned all of those factories that produce those goods. That would be socialism. But the government dealing out health insurance is not, because health insurance is not a commodity. It's just a
talking about
piece
the
of
NHS and
insurance is just an actuarial table and a piece of paper. That's
So
all insurance
let's-
is.
let
When,
me-
so
okay,
so let me ask you this.
before we
No,
go on.
no. So when
No, but Brenda hasn't actually defined
when Donald
means of
Trump
production
invoked
correctly.
the Stafford Act, or when he invoked the Defense Production Act and ordered all these ventilators, that's not the government having ownership over the industry?
I don't think he seized ownership. I think he took over control. he's probably, I don't know if he could do that or not. In the case of a pandemic or a world war, for instance, during the World War II, the government of the United States seized a lot of industries temporarily in order to make production more efficient for the war effort. That's okay because it's understood. It's not permanent, and it's not always direct seizure of property, right? In socialism, the government takes property. They physically take ownership of factory buildings and the machines that build things.
Okay, so anyway, I'm going to read another definition. This is means of production, as defined by Wikipedia. Take that for what you wish. In economics and sociology, the means of production, also called capital goods, are physical and non-financial inputs used in the production of goods and services with economic value. Okay, so that actually fits my definition and not yours.
No,
These include raw materials. I haven't finished. These include raw materials, facilities, machinery, and tools used in the production of goods and services.
And the services around those things. So it doesn't include...
No. You're not going to skate over this. You said earlier that it was physical goods only. And
that's what that's describing.
Well.
That's the definition you just read is describing physical goods.
And
read it again.
Services.
And services, sure, but we distinguish...
But you just denied that 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, for the purpose of distinguishing socialism.
Whatever, I'm done. You win. Whatever.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm correct. You can look this up.
Well, you're not, but you win.
I am.
Whatever.
I actually am. I mean, this
is
just
read the definition, you retard.
All he said was the NHS was a socialistic idea. That was it, and it is
I don't know
a socialistic idea.
I don't know what those letters are. That's not anything we're familiar with.
If you don't know, then you didn't listen to the fucking conversation in the first place, and you're just trunching on shit. He didn't address his actual
that's not true.
points.
I actually did. I addressed his points directly.
Okay. Let me say it. The NHS is a socialistic idea.
Yes, socialistic. Yes, I agreed. I agreed from the beginning.
There we go.
I agreed from the beginning. It's socialistic. It's not socialism.
No, you didn't.
That's the point I made from. I made. Yes, I did. Did I? Yes, I did. No, yes, I did. I made that distinction from the beginning.
What a waste of time.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Well, you can keep saying that, but that's fine. If you want to sleep better tonight, you keep telling yourself whatever you want to keep telling yourself.
Well, you can go back and listen, and it's clear. I said
it's not being live streamed.
I agreed. I
can remember what you said. No, you didn't.
Obviously, you can't.
It was your point of conjecture. That was your whole goddamn issue.
No,
and now you're turning around saying, no, I didn't say that, but you did.
I didn't. I agreed from the beginning that...
No, you didn't. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, no, that's not true. That doesn't follow. You're an idiot and a moron. So, yeah, that's why we're having this conversation.
No, your point of contention was the NHS was not a socialistic idea.
No,
said it.
No, I said it was not socialism.
And now we're trying to figure out what socialism is and services.
I stated from the beginning.
This is where the conversation. You don't need to talk through me.
I stated from the beginning. I stated it from the beginning.
Just irrelevant. You're just irrelevant.
I stated it from the beginning that universal healthcare is socialistic. It's inspired by socialistic ideas, but it is not socialism. You can Google this phrase. Socialism is not when the government does stuff, and you'll find virtually all of the returns you get will agree. Socialism is not when the government does stuff. That's not socialism. No. Socialism is when the government seizes private property.
You're just having an argument with yourself now. You went on to a subject that nobody was even talking about. Ridiculous person.